What if I told you that one of the biggest pop icons of the 21st century was once trapped in a world that almost destroyed her? Britney Spears, who skyrocketed to fame in her teens, became the symbol of a generation, a household name with hits like Baby One More Time and Toxic. But beneath the glittering surface of fame and fortune, her life spiraled into chaos, making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Her career, once at the peak of pop music, came crashing down in a series of public breakdowns, court battles, and personal struggles. How did the pop princess fall so far from grace? And perhaps more importantly, how did she rise again, defying all expectations? The shocking truth behind Britney's career collapse and her triumphant return is far more complex than anyone imagined. Britney Spears, once the undeniable queen of pop, captivated the world with her infectious hits, flawless performances, and seemingly perfect life. But her career, once soaring at unimaginable heights, soon took a devastating nosedive. The media buzzed with headlines about her personal struggles, her very public breakdowns, and her highly publicized battles for control over her own life. Fans watched in disbelief as the young star they adored seemed to vanish, replaced by a woman caught in a whirlwind of controversy and crisis. However, after years of being trapped in a conservatorship that stripped her of control, Britney is fighting back. Her journey of losing everything to reclaiming her voice is a story of resilience, power, and the fight for freedom. But the question remains, what really happened behind the scenes? How did this iconic figure fall from grace? And how did she manage to rise from the ashes of her past to reclaim her life and career? What secrets lie within Britney's turbulent journey that the public has yet to fully understand? It was the late 1990s, and Britney Spears was everywhere. From billboards to music videos, her image was synonymous with pop culture. With her platinum blonde hair, schoolgirl uniform, and infectious smile, she was the epitome of the innocent, rebellious spirit of youth. Baby One More Time catapulted her into superstardom, a whirlwind of success that seemed unstoppable. The world watched as Britney, still a teenager, navigated the pressures of fame, public scrutiny, and endless expectations. Her every move was dissected by the media, yet for a time, it seemed as though nothing could break her. But behind the glitz and glam, cracks began to show. The pressures of fame took their toll, and the perfect image started to fade. In the early 2000s, she faced a series of personal challenges that would eventually send her into a downward spiral. The media, hungry for scandal, seized on every misstep, portraying her as the ultimate cautionary tale. Her once vibrant career faltered as she struggled with personal demons, her erratic behavior making headlines more than her music. Public breakdowns, a chaotic divorce, and a battle for custody of her children left the world wondering, could Britney ever come back from this? It wasn't just the media that played a role in her downfall. Britney's life was slowly being taken over by a system that controlled her every move. And this was just the beginning of the story. The fall from grace was only the first chapter in her journey back to redemption. As Britney's personal life unraveled, the world couldn't look away. The headlines seemed to write themselves. Britney Spears shaves her head. Britney Spears in a mental health crisis. Britney Spears in rehab. Each new incident seemed more shocking than the last, fueling a media frenzy that turned her into a punchline, a spectacle for the public to consume. But there was a hidden narrative, one that few people understood. Behind the chaotic images, there was something much darker at play. Britney was losing control, but it wasn't just the pressures of fame or her personal struggles. Something far more insidious was happening. In 2008, as Britney's life spiraled further, a conservatorship was established. This legal arrangement, meant to protect those who are unable to care for themselves, was placed over her life, her finances, and her career. At first glance, it appeared to be a measure of protection, but soon it became clear that this was no ordinary guardianship. Her father, Jamie Spears, was appointed as her conservator, and it meant that Britney could no longer make decisions about her own life. Everything from her finances to her personal relationships was under his control. For years, the public watched as she seemed to disappear, her voice drowned out by those in power. The once confident and vibrant pop star was now a shadow of herself, unable to escape the grip of the conservatorship. But what if this wasn't just a legal matter? What if there was something more sinister behind the scenes? Britney's situation became a ticking time bomb, and her cries for freedom were dismissed or ignored. Meanwhile, her every move was still under the watchful eye of the public. And yet, despite the oppressive system around her, Britney fought back, quietly at first, but with a determination that would eventually bring her story to light. The twists, the secrets, and the manipulations were far more complex than anyone realized. What was really going on behind the closed doors of the conservatorship? And was it possible that Britney's struggle for freedom had been a long time coming, a hidden rebellion against the system that controlled her every move? In 2021, after over 13 years of being controlled by the conservatorship, Britney Spears took a bold step that would shock the world. She publicly demanded an end to the legal arrangement. During a testimony in court, she spoke out with a raw honesty that left the world speechless. "I just want my life back," she declared, her voice trembling with frustration and pain. For the first time in over a decade, Britney's voice was heard in full, and the public got a glimpse of the truth that had been hidden for so long. The conservatorship had stripped her of every aspect of her life, her choices, her independence, and at times, even her dignity. She revealed shocking details about her treatment, including being forced into a psychiatric hold, denied the right to marry or have more children, and controlled by medication. It was a story of manipulation and control, far beyond the public breakdowns or erratic behavior that had once defined her image. The revelations in court set off a massive wave of public support. The hashtag Free Britney movement, once dismissed as a conspiracy theory, became a global cause. Fans and activists rallied behind Britney, demanding justice, and the truth began to spread like wildfire. The very system that had kept her captive for so long was being questioned, and with each passing day, the walls of her prison seemed to be crumbling. But the fight was far from over. Britney's battle for freedom was only just beginning. Despite the legal victories and public outcry, her father still held the reins of her conservatorship, refusing to let go. But the moment Britney spoke up in court was the turning point. It was the climax of her struggle, a desperate plea that the world could no longer ignore. The entire world watched, holding its breath, waiting to see if Britney could finally break free from the chains that had bound her for so long. Would she be able to regain control of her life? Would justice prevail? Or was this just another chapter in a never-ending fight? What happened next would determine everything. In November 2021, Britney Spears finally achieved what seemed impossible. Her conservatorship was officially terminated. After years of legal battles, public support, and personal courage, Britney was free. The courts granted her the autonomy she had longed for, allowing her to regain control over her finances, her career, and her life. Her victory was a moment of celebration, not only for Britney, but for everyone who had fought alongside her in the hashtag Free Britney movement. Yet, even as Britney steps into her newfound freedom, her journey is far from over. She's rebuilding her career, reconnecting with her fans, and reclaiming her voice. But the scars from her years of control run deep, and the world is left to reflect on the price of fame, the power of manipulation, and the lengths one woman went to for her freedom. Britney's story is a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit, but also a warning. How many others are trapped in similar systems, unheard and unseen? Her story may have ended with a victory, but the questions remain. What happens when the world forgets the real story behind the headlines? And who decides when it's time to finally listen?